reveal the truth.
I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, the government told me that today is March 31st. It's a Tuesday, 2026. Well, tomorrow is New Year's Day, and hopefully you guys will be celebrating the New Year's. Because what they did was they called us all fools for believing that the New Year was always on the New Year, and then when they changed it, those people who did not play along were called fools by the decision makers, the king makers, the Cool Kids Club. So anyway, all right, going on. Let's see. Today, a couple things I found kind of interesting. James O'Keefe. I don't know if you guys know who James O'Keefe is. He is the gentleman who's been doing a lot of undercover exposés of different people in different things, from the pharmaceutical company to the government to other agencies, other companies, this and that. So he's been out there. Well, he's also got into where he's unlocking and finding where they are buying voter registrations. But then he got served today by the sheriff's department from a restraining order from Matthew Tyerman, and some reason that Matthew Tyerman thinks that he needs to have a restraining order from James O'Keefe. It says, "I would kill him," on the complaint, because he is one of the most evil people I have ever known. He even, so this is, again, saying such things like, "I would kill him," O'Keefe. This is what this guy that got the restraining order on O'Keefe said. I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that out for you. But anyway, such things as, "I would kill him," O'Keefe, because he is one of the most evil people I've ever known. This is what the guy who got the restraining order against O'Keefe said about O'Keefe to get the restraint. I mean, this is... he even shot my book with rifle bullets through my heart on the cover. The audacity of the evil has no bounds. More updates after the hearing tomorrow. So there was a hearing. And by the way, when he got served, he has to be there like the next day. It's just really, really not good. There's some things out there that aren't going the way they should, especially in our country. And anyway, I don't know if you guys have heard this, heard about this gentleman. His name is Harman Kapor, K-A-P-O-O-R, and he is a gentleman that has been picked on relentlessly because he would not serve what they call challah. Now, challah is a particular dish that, and to participate in this is actually a Muslim religion. It's a very, 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 very big thing, and it gets very detailed and food-oriented and all this other stuff. But this gentleman has been absolutely beat on by the Muslim community, even though he is Pakistani, I think he is himself. Anyway, so he's over in London, and he is just really out there showing that he cares, and he's trying to do the right thing, but he's not going to give in to these people who demand him to do what they want him to do because of their religion. And again, I thought there was some things that the Magna Carta and other things like that kind of got us into a certain path of humanity and remembered the human being and things, but I guess we're not going to do that. So anyway, a couple things that I wanted to go over. Now, I did name today today's episode, I did name it Moon, and I know that may seem like, did I say Moon? Did I do Moon, or did I not do Moon? I think I did Moon. I did Moon, did I? Well, anyway, the point of that is that I wanted you guys to see that, no, it wasn't Moon. Today's wasn't Moon. Was it? No, Judges. I was going to do the Moon, but I decided to Judges. So the point of the reason I'm bringing up the Judges, not the Moon, but it is a full moon tonight, so there is that effect going on in the world around us that we know the magnetic polarity of the Earth is being strained or pulled in one direction or the other because of the passing. Ken says, "Did you hear about Kristi Noem's husband?" Yeah, there's some stuff out there about their personal life, and it's out in the open, and so people were talking about it. So, yeah, that sucks that is out there. Anyway, so let's see what this is. Chat settings. How do I do that? All right, here we go. Hop in. Let's see where we at. Okay, so there we go. Okay, all right. So I'm still working on getting the chat to work right. But anyway, the Christy Nome thing, I mean, we'll talk about it. I've got an article here. I was going to talk about it for just a second. But I want to go back to the judges, and the judges are really a problem for me because there's a lot of stories that we just keep coming out over and 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 over again about judges. Real quick light note, Canada, Alberta, Canada has actually surpassed the 177,000 signatures, certified signatures, to create an independent Alberta. When people were talking about us having a 51st state, I don't know if everybody really thought about it like this, because this is now becoming a real thing. And by the way, Alberta has the oil sands. That's where all of the oil sands, where the XL pipeline that everybody's been fighting over for 10 years, the XL pipeline goes into the Canadian oil sands and brings oil sand to the world market. So if we were to have the Alberta oil sands, boom. I mean, we're talking, we got a whole nother ocean of oil. Real quick, and I'm gonna get to the Christy Nome stuff here in a sec. I want to do this real quick. In the wake of a major airline crash, it's not unusual for the CEO to resign, especially if there's signs of corporate culture being the problem. In this case, that's not the case. In fact, it's pretty much clear that the point of the Air Canada jet was no role of the Canadian jet had no role in the accident. It was actually the air traffic controller doing ground control that allowed for the fire truck to go across a live active runway, and that's what caused it. So I'm not really sure why he stepped down. Again, I'm not going to go all the way into it, but it did kill on March 22nd. It did kill the two pilots and the whole thing. So anyway, Canada is officially a bilingual nation, and his message sparked condemnation from senior political leaders, which also stirred long-standing tensions that led Quebec to attempt to become an independent state via the referendum in 85 and 95. So the company, like Canadian Air particularly, have a responsibility to always communicate in both languages. I mean, this is why we get, I don't know. This is why we get where we are. We really deserve this kind of stuff, this looping back on ourselves. But I thought that was interesting that the CEO stepped down for that. I don't think he should have. It's not his deal, but this, that, or the other thing. Alberta, if we get them to actually go through with this, so that we could end up having a 51st state, which would be awesome, right? Why not? So, hey, Brenda, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Courtney Allen, good to see you as well. Appreciate it. And Jeremy Phillips, hey, man, good to see you here. So going back to this, now there's a couple things here. Now listen, we have been in a building process on the side of the White House grounds, putting in a ballroom with a military complex, a military bunker on one side of it. And we've all known that bunker exists since day one. We knew what they were doing to excavate. I pretty much understood what they were doing there. And then they were going to put a ballroom on top of it. Now, why am I telling you about this? Why is this a problem? Well, here's the problem. Federal judge orders Trump administration to halt construction on privately funded White House ballroom. Now, guys, I don't know what to tell you that this is the kind of stupidity in which we live in today, where we have people that are stopping something that has nothing to do with them, but they think it's everything to do with them. So let's go ahead and read the article. This ought to be rich. This ought to be really fun and cool. So, the federal judge on Tuesday ordered a privately funded Trump White House ballroom construction project to be halted. U.S. District Judge Richard Leon, a George W. Bush appointee, which we all know he was a Democrat, temporarily halted the construction of the ballroom. The judge said Congress has to approve the construction project. Now, guys, let me do something here for a second. Let me do something. Do you think umpires in a baseball game are better human beings and have better emotional control than other human beings on earth? I'm just asking about baseball. An umpire behind the plate. How about a referee in a basketball game or a football game? Or how about the PE coach or the principal or a judge? Do you know what qualifies you to be a judge? Nothing. Do you know what's required to be a judge? Nothing. Oh, they'll say a Juris Doctorate is required. But actually, if you get in the brass tacks of it, it actually has to do with what association you belong to. The Lawyers Association, so that you can then be one of them. Sad part of it is that judges really don't have any special qualifications. They haven't been through the fire of life. They've never been through the trials and tribulations. Oh, I will guarantee you there's a couple of them out there that really do a great job at figuring out how not to cut the baby in half. But my point is that when you have judges, hey, Marcia Internet, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So my point of this is that as I look around in this world, we have these judges who sit around and they have these big budgets. And guys, by the way, judges have their own county, city, state, federal budget. Then they have other set-aside money that they get portions of because when they put in restitution, when they put in court fines, they get money kicked back to them. And so my point of this is, this goes back to when my judge friend signed the no-knock warrant on my house on my birthday, May 17th, 2018. That judge friend of mine did not have the honor, did not have the dignity to recuse himself, say that he could not participate in this sign-off. But see, they did it purposely because they knew he would be the one there, because he knew he was the one that was willing to do it with shady information. By the way, the entire reason that they were able to get it was because of him. But judges don't have some type of special training they go to. Oh, they got judges training. But there is no special criteria for them to feel a certain way or to work on certain things or to get certain things worked out. They are just a dude or a chick that was a lawyer that got elected or appointed. Now, how many appointments do you know happened because of the character of the person? Truly. Or is it first about their political leaning and then about the character maybe? Is it always about which side that you would vote on, if you're my team or their team or our team or us team or you team? Do you see what I'm saying on that? This is what I have a problem with. Now, what I'm pointing out to you is just like the Supreme Court justices. Kavanaugh was out drinking beers, had a diary that he remembered talking about meeting a girl back in college and had a few 2 or 3 beers and went home and wrote in his journal. I don't know if that's the guy I say that I want to be a judge, but that's the guy that was appointed to it, and that's the guy who was then voted on and was then confirmed. My point of this is that judges who go around and decide that they have this whole thing that they can just do, like, oh, I can just stop all these things. Now, this was one I really didn't quite understand how I never even thought of this angle, that Congress has to approve the project. So you're saying Congress has to make a law. Listen to me. This is what we're talking about. Congress only makes laws. See, when they make laws to spend money, that's how they spend money. It's a law. It has to be spent. Do you see where the difference is, where our mentalities are going? U.S. District Judge said that Congress has to approve the construction project. A federal judge on Tuesday stopped a $400 million ballroom that was being put in. The U.S. District Judge, last summer, the Trump administration announced a White House ballroom construction project. For 150 years, president, administrations, and White House staff have longed for a larger event space at the White House complex that can hold substantially more guests than currently allowed. And I've known that since a kid. That their state dinners were always, that's why everybody is like sitting like shoulder to shoulder at those tables. It's because they're trying to get every single person in there because they just don't have the space for it. It's actually kind of crazy. It really is. The White House is one of the most beautiful and historical buildings in the world, and yet the White House is currently unable to host major functions honoring world leaders and other countries without having to install a large, unsightly tent approximately 100 yards away. Now, I will guarantee you the tent company is not happy because they get to put it up and tear it down and put it up and tear it down, put it up and tear it down, and they get to charge through the ass for that every single time. So, and then the idea that because it's a secured facility and all that good stuff, it just runs the cost up, and that's what it does. The construction team will be headed by Clark Construction. The engineering team will be led by AECOM. The project will begin in September 2025 and is expected to be completed long before the end of the president's term. The White House ballroom will be substantially separated from the main building of the White House. Okay, it will be substantially separated. But at the same time, its theme and architectural heritage will be almost identical. The site of the new ballroom will be where the small, heavily changed and reconstructed East Wing currently sits. The East Wing was constructed in 1902 and then renovated in 1942. So again, this is talking about like this is just such a thing. Like this is a thing. We got to make it a thing, right? We're making a ballroom and we're spending someone else's money, but no, we got to spend our money. And now we got to do a bill and we got to make it a thing. We got to make it a thing because that way we can spend more money on a thing. And it's all just a thing. Brenda says, I think it's great that Trump is doing that because it gives dignity and honor to our country. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's brilliant. There's not a problem with it. The fact that we don't have like some amazing, Taj Mahal thing where we actually like knock down a crater on the earth to get a new ballroom. That doesn't sound like America playing it small. Why are we trying to play it small in this ballroom? Why are we trying to act like we don't care? But by the way, they spent $5 billion, listen to me, $5 billion on the exact same size building, but they were only renovating it for the Federal Reserve. The exact same size building for $200 million is what they spent $5 billion rehabbing at the Federal Reserve. It's going to be crazy, guys. I don't know. I think they have been so used to just doing whatever they want. Hey, Dave Glovin, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I think they've just gotten so used to just really blindly just getting it done, just out there just slaying it all the time and doing whatever they want to do. I really do wonder if they actually, they just forgot that they just can't keep doing it, and when they keep doing it, they keep exposing themselves. So here's the problem. That's not the last of it. They are not using taxpayer money, says Dave Glevin. Oh, I know. That's the sad part of it. So here comes another judge. This is where I am absolutely floored by this. A federal judge on today, blocked President Trump's executive order aimed at ending federal funding for NPR and PBS. I don't have a problem with that. See, my problem, here's the thing. If I had access to NPR or if I had access to PBS as if it was actually literally like public access, I could go down there, I could put my show on there at Saturday morning at 3 a.m. I could be doing my thing, right? That would be a thing, right? I could do that. But I can't. And the sad part of it is they do play politics, especially NPR. NPR doesn't just do like a little classical music and a little bit of like this. When you listen to NPR, they get down in here and like, we're talking about the politics of today. And today is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the reason that your happiness doesn't bubble over in you. You have no ability to see the future because of how fat he is, and the orangeness of his glow will not let you see the horizon, knowing that someday soon there will be no Donald Trump. And that's what NPR sounds like. It's weird. Like, I've listened to people that are considered to be like in their early 20s, and they're in there. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about today that everybody should be driving or riding around in a public bus. Public buses are the most comfortable, amazing, brilliant, transformational transportation we've ever had in our lives. And absolutely, we should all be thinking the Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior. Oh, no, he's not our Savior. We're atheists here. Sorry. But that's what it's about. Like, it's all about that. So again, no. Anyway, a U.S. District Judge, Randolph Moss, an Obama appointee, lashed out at President Trump and said he targeted PBS and NPR for their viewpoints. When 99% of what you do, PBS and NPR, is Democrat promoting or Republican destroying information, you made it political. We didn't. So don't do that, Mr. Judge. But cool you, buddy. You're just this really cool guy who's going to go play pickleball this afternoon because you shut down the executive order. I'm going to just go. I'm so happy. I'm going to have sex with my wife tonight. Boy, I'm going to give her a good one, boy. Or his boyfriend, I guess, because that's what we do when we start talking about liberal judges. National Public Radio and in Public Broadcasting Service received taxpayer funds through the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, CPB. Unlike in 1967 when the CPB was established, today the media landscape is filled with an abundance of diverse and innovative news options. Back then when this was brought around in 67. But remember, what was 67? MK Ultra. MK Ultra, MK Ultra, MK Ultra. We're putting money into a specific radio and a specific TV station to make sure it does what we want it to do, called CPB. CPB, Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Okay? Now, the government funding of the news media in this environment is not only outdated and unnecessary, but corrosive. Absolutely. At the least, Americans have the right to expect that if their tax dollar funded public broadcasting at all, they fund only fair, accurate, unbiased, and unpartisan news coverage. Well, look at that. The CPB fails to abide by these principles to extend the subsidies to NPR and PBS. And by the way, I thought they would already be up for sale, but I will tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of PBS stations going up for sale, and I don't see how they're going to be able to stick it out. This judge is going to try to stick it in there for him and say, well, no, you got to pay him, but we'll see how it goes. Moss ruled that President Trump's executive order to cease funding for NPR and PBS was unlawful and unenforceable. Guys, I don't know how life works for you guys, but I do really appreciate the picking and choosing of what they do and don't want, and what they do and can't do, and what they are and are not. The picking and choosing. See, they're. Oh no, you got everybody's. Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. That whole bullshit, right? That whole thing. But at the same time, they really do just walk away from laws that they still don't want to see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. The judge said the First Amendment right to free speech does not tolerate viewpoints, discrimination, and retaliation of this type. That's rich, dude. How do you really just hold your hands over, like two hands over all your eyes, everything, just the pineal gland, the third eye, everything's just covered up as best you can, and you literally came out and said, the First Amendment right to free speech does not tolerate viewpoints, discrimination, and retaliation of this type. But what was PBR doing? What was PBS doing? Or PBR, sorry. Sorry, Pabst Blue Ribbon, I didn't mean to insult you that way. But what was PBS and NPR doing? When all of their news is bashing Trump 100% of the time and bashing Republicans and only talking about all these social programs. Please, sir, can you explain this last sentence to me? But does not tolerate viewpoint discrimination? NPR? Are you writing this to the... Wait, let me... hold on a second, guys. Maybe I got Judge Randolph's message wrong. Maybe I screwed up here. Because maybe he's talking to NPR and to PBS and CPS or whatever the hell that is. But that's where he's not. That's where the scary part comes in. That's where you go, ooh, Jimmy's not saying that. The FCC has allowed NPR and PBS to buy and own commercial radio and TV stations to fund. Yeah. Julie Sharping, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that fence project goes well. By the way, Julie, that fence, the fencing that's over there is the thick board and the wider board. If you go, and by the way, Julie, real quick, if you go to price out the boards, make sure you're pricing out the thickness and the width and the height. Because if you buy them at Lowe's or Home Depot or even Menards, They're the thinner, narrower, shorter fence pickets. So just make sure when you go to price them that you price out the board that's actually the same thickness, the same width, and the same height. So, and that's, guys, I'm sure that's probably all the way across the board on all fence companies, suppliers out there. Anyway, so yeah, good stuff. All right, continuing on here. So that's, I mean, again, another judge just decides that he just knows best. He knows best. And hey, we don't tolerate that discrimination thing. You first, judge. You know, I mean, that's the part where it's like, you got to understand that you the one, you did it first. You talk to PBS. So, oh, and by the way, they have absolutely tracked every single dollar back to the No Kings event. And by the way, guys, there was over $100 million spent last weekend on the No Kings Day. Did you guys know that? And I'm not kidding you. $100 million exchanged hands into organizations that were paid to print signs and pay for people to stand on corners. $100 million. If they're willing to spend $100 million on the No Kings protest, how much money do you think they're going to spend in this next midterm when they're going to try to impeach Trump next year? How much money do you think they're snowballing up for this next November, this next October? September? See, the thing is, we're not quite in the heat of the election cycle yet. The heat starts really in July. And once July gets here, June, July, man, it's going to be hot potato all the way. We're going to have the mudslinging, oh, you slept with her, he slept with her, they slept with him, she did that, he did this, they had that money, they had this affair, they had their fingernail cut by a rhinoceros, whatever. They're going to come up with the most lambasted things they can, all the weirdest stuff they can, all the different things they can. And that's what they do. And it's going to get real ugly because they're going to spend all of their dry powder and maybe some that they don't even have. They're going to spend it all like they did on Kamala. See, with Kamala, they went in, what, $500 million in debt? $500 million they overspent. Was it $500 million or something like that? $300 million? It was a lot. So the Democrats are going to take all the dry powder, every single zero they have, and they're going to throw it at all of the mail-in ballots, all of the lawsuits, all of the injunctions. Guys, I got a prediction for you. How much you guys want to bet in every single jurisdiction, every single county, that George Soros is right now already set up with an attorney in every single voting jurisdiction, every county, already has a judge lined up with a lawsuit and a lawyer that when the election happens, they're going to file a lawsuit on that election day that will then freeze all elections. And then that way they will be able to infinitely count all elections until all ballots are counted to win the elections that they want to win in the way they want to win it. They're going to use the judges. Again, we're talking about judges today. They're going to use the judges to go out of their way to make sure that those judges help them with this upcoming election. That's just one way they're going to do it. That's just one way. We're going to have the mail-in ballot push. They're going to send all these different jurisdictions. They're going to send out mail-out ballots to everybody. We're going to do it in Nevada. We're going to do it in California. We're going to do it in New Hampshire. We're going to do it in Massachusetts. We're going to do it in Virginia. All the places where we got to get our seats right. We're going to send out mail-in ballots statewide. Watch. Minnesota, Illinois, they're coming. It's happening. Ohio, Pennsylvania, yeah, it's going to happen. Arizona, I think Arizona's going to do the full mail-in ballot too. See, my point is, guys, is that they're going to do everything they can because they know they have to win, because if they don't win, they die. They have to win. If they don't win, they die. And it doesn't matter to them what they burn down in the process. This is how it works. This is what it is. This is life. And the sad part of it is that the majority of us never go around thinking about killing or maiming or destroying or defrauding each other. We want to live our lives in a way that we can find peace and joy and happiness and a little bit of sanctuary. And we can just hang out and do some things with people and enjoy our time and maybe go floating down a river, go ride our dirt bikes, or go fly a kite or whatever it is. But there is a group of people on this earth right now that are thinking about killing you. And I know that sounds really like, you're just fear-mongering, Jimmy. You just don't understand. It's just not like that in the real world. Then explain to me what elections are. Explain to me why it is that Seth Rich is dead. Explain to me why we have different people in our political parties who have had suicide attempts or murders or assassination attempts. Why is it that we have all these things going on, but yet we won't take it serious that these people are serious to death? That they'll go as far as they can in any way they can to make sure that they win just because it's a win, not because anything was gained. And that's the other part of it. This is the other part. We don't do, conservative people, listen to me. We don't do politics for sport. Now, what does sport mean? Well, those guys who go out and they'll shoot an elephant or a zebra in Africa. Well, most of the time, those guys are just wanting the mount. That they can say that thing on the wall right there, I shot that in the outback, or I shot that in the African safari, or the badlands of this and that and the other thing. I did this, I did that. That's called sport. I went out and did it because I want you to show. It's just a cool thing to do. But for conservatives, it's just because we just want to live. We want just enough politics in our lives that we almost forget, but it's always there. And we don't take more politics than we want. We don't do extra politics. We don't try to make it our life. We just do enough politics to get us through the winter and, get us through those summer months or whatever. We just do enough hunting. We just do enough consuming that we really don't want a lot of politics in our tummy. We don't want a lot of extra. We don't engorge ourselves. We want the right amount. We want just the right amount of politics, which is people out there staying out of our lives and quit trying to take things from us. That's what I mean by these people are willing to kill you. Because to them, there is nothing else. This is all they do. And they do it for sport. That's the scary part. Is they do this killing of people. They do this assassination of people. They do this attempted assassination of people because it's just what you do to win. It's what you do to win. Think about that. Putting a bullet through somebody's head, killing somebody, is acceptable behavior during a political battle. See, my problem is I think the government itself should just go home. I don't believe the government itself is really that effective in anything I do. I don't look around and think, God, so glad the government was there. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. So she goes, hey, Jimmy, good to see you. She goes, Brian, for Pasco County School Board, District 1, needs to follow up with you concerning a recent event. Yeah, have him get a hold of me, Lisa. We'll take care of that. We'll chat it up with him. So, so anyway, going back to this, I don't think about how I can wake up and if I could just kill a person, I would be able to move the political needle in a way. I've never thought of that. My judge friend, Ben, I am sad that that's the mentality he has or how he takes life or what he thinks life is. I feel sorry for him. I have a compassion for him because I think about that. That's where he is in life. And he's an old man. He's 70 years old. See, that's why he signed the no-knock warrant for me, because he was aging out and he couldn't be a judge anymore in Sedgwick County after 65. They were telling him to go home and enjoy his life, but he couldn't stop holding on to that throttle of power. Couldn't stop holding on to that moment. And by the way, the guy who did that, he actually fell asleep during a murder trial on the stand, up on the judge's chair. He fell asleep during a murder trial. But again, we think of judges in these omnipotent ways. We think of them in this, judges are, they've got such dignity and such whatever. But have you listened to Ketanji Brown or whatever that lady is, the Supreme Court Justice? Have you actually listened to her during her debates on the Supreme Court floor in the chamber? Have you actually listened to her? What you talking about, boy? I'm out here being a lawyer, man. I don't know why you got to be this way. Now, I know I was being exaggerated there. I was being facetious. I was making a comical point. I was not being literal. But the point of it is I shouldn't be able to differentiate her from anybody else. I should just think that she's another woman, and I don't think about race, and I don't think about behaviors, because she's a better person than that, but she's not. Oh, by the way, if you don't think she's on the take, she's already got a book deal, and she just got into the Supreme Court a year ago, or however long she's been in. The first 6 months she was in, she got a book deal. Now, what are book deals? Book deals are money laundering. They are a way of getting millions of dollars into an individual because they sold a lot of books, and the book companies wrote them a book check. I gave you $20 million, Conjugadanchi or Jancy Gucci, whoever your name is. And so, Miss Supreme Court Justice, you get along to get along because you're kind of a dummy, and we know that we can manipulate with money because you're just that kind of person. She does not know. Guys, just go listen to some of her stuff. You will. I wish you could just take her voice out of it and just listen to the words that are said in somebody else's voice, and I don't care who it is. It's not going to sound good. It doesn't sound good. The English word order is not. It's very ghetto. Remember that whole push back in the 90s when they started talking about ebonics of being in a language? I think she took it a little serious. What do I know? Okay, so here we go, folks. You ready? Supreme Court today, again, this is where I love that we just hang our hat on every god dang thing the judges say, because that's the only way we can make a decision. Can't make decisions according to how the law is written. We have to have a judge who's a super duper cool lawyer, and super duper cool lawyers are called judges, and we listen to everything they say because they can just write a piece of paper and they can come take me away and put a bullet in my head and execute me, and there's not a damn thing you could do about it because you've given so much authority, so much power to a judge that guys with badges and guns will do what they say no matter what. A badge and a gun will do whatever a judge signs. Not legislators, not his creator, not common sense, not fact-checking, not any of that. No. We're not going to bring the human element into it. We're only going to do exactly what the judge tells us to do. Only what the judge tells us to do. Only what the judge tells us to do. But here we go again. We're chasing down the judges. And, this time it's good for me, maybe. The Supreme Court on Tuesday ruled 8-1 against Colorado's conversion therapy ban for LGBTQ members. Liberal Justice, listen, Ketanji Brown Jackson dissented. Guys, I didn't know she did. I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't think I did. I mean, guys, we'll read the article. We'll go through this. Kylie Chiles argued that Colorado's ban on her talk therapy methods violated her First Amendment rights. Chiles counsels children and minor teens struggling with gender identity issues. Guys, There's no such thing. I really do wish there was. I wish it was a thing. And then I could just not have to do this part of it. But it's not a thing. We can all think we're whatever we want to be, and we can all imagine all kinds of crazy shit, and it doesn't fucking change the reality of it. We have to be better for each other. We have to stand up. We got to do that. But we can't go around having people talk about shit that's not real. And if they think this is real, then they can do it to themselves, but they can't do it to anybody else, and they can't be dragging other little kids along in it. Justice Gorsuch agreed and said Colorado's ban on certain talk therapy methods censors speech based on viewpoint. Under our precedents, bedrock First Amendment principles have far less salience than the speakers of medical professionals. I don't know what salience means. Anyway, in a blow to the LGBT rights, the Supreme Court on Tuesday ruled that the Colorado's ban on controversial therapy aimed at youth struggling with their sexual orientation or gender identity violates the free speech right of a conservative Christian's therapy. Okay, so she's saying a conservative Christian didn't want to have sex change talks with kids, but yet they were saying that she had to. This is going back to the cake theory, where remember the baker who was asked to make a lesbian cake or whatever it was, a gay cake, and he said no, and then they sued him all the way to the Supreme Court. Do you remember that? He's like, I don't have to serve you. And see, the problem is that she doesn't, but cannot be forced to do it, right? This is where I don't understand. Guys, we get so close to being right on so many things, and we get close to doing things right, and then we just screw it all up. Writing for the majority, Neil Gorsuch said that the First Amendment stands as a shield against any effort to enforce orthodoxy in thought or speech in this country. So he's saying even in a medical profession person cannot be made to do things or say things. But the sad part of it is that's kind of what they all are made to do with the FDA and the insurance company and the AI of things in hospitals now. They're only allowed to say what the AI tells them they can do. They're only allowed to do whatever the AI says they can do to the patient. So are we limiting doctors on their ability to have free speech and to talk to the patients openly the way they should be? Have we done that? Is that a breakthrough idea in how we actually handle what we've done with medical tyranny over the last 6-7 years of our life? I don't know. As such, the measure is not like other healthcare regulations that focus on conduct. The court concluded the case, decided on the Global Transgender Day of Visibility, will now return to the lower courts. God dang it, guys. Can we just not do this with all the judges all the time? Ugh. So she's she is an Biden appointee. Yeah, Dave, you're right. Silly. Dave Silly, good to see you. All AutoPen stuff was thrown out, I thought. Well, Dave, it hasn't gone all the way through the courts. It's being ran through litigation and all that stuff. But I will tell you that Jakandi or whatever that lady's name was, she was an AutoPen. So, yeah, good stuff. All right. You guys, I don't know if you guys got to see that yesterday, that Kid Rock had an Apache helicopter fly over his property. He saluted them, gave them a wave, and now they're saying the air crew is in violation of something. So here we go. Army suspends air crew who flew helicopter near Kid Rock's house. The Army has suspended a crew who flew their AH-64 Apache helicopter near Kid Rock's Tennessee home on Saturday, according to NBC. Kid Rock, a popular music icon and friend of Trump. So he shows him saluting him, no big deal. And then Rock posted the video with a dig at Democrat California Governor Gavin Newsom. This is the level of respect that shit for brains Governor of California will never know. God bless America and all those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to defend her. I mean, that's brilliant, right? But here we go. Government does what government does. A spokesman with the 110 Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, said the flying helicopters were not related to the Nashville's No King protest that took place over the weekend and were indirectly coincidental with the demonstration. So, guys, the Army suspended the air crew. Later identified him operating in the Nashville area and stated that appropriate actions will be taken if any violations were found. A military spokesman said on Monday, Army aviators were apprehended. Army aviators must adhere to strict safety standards, professionalism, and established flight regulations. And again, this is going to be one of those things. They're going to use the crash in D.C. about this. They're going to make it a thing. It's going to be a thing anyway. So Rock spokesman told Nashville TV that during a Thanksgiving visit with J.D. Vance in nearby Fort Campbell, he has invited the flight crews to cruise by his place after seeing them fly by his home on several occasions. Rock said the Saturday flyby was not planned and that he was taken back by the surprise. And again, guys, this is where we lose this, right? We lose the humanity of it. Now, all of a sudden, the Democrats are going to say we want to rule the law. We want to be the law. We want to make sure Kid Rock can't have fun, and that's against the law, and that's our federal funding and misappropriations of. Okay, guys, stop. See, this goes back to that. Remember that 3 strikes thing? The no, what was it? The no tolerance. There was zero tolerance, wasn't it? Like something like that. The zero tolerance law. Well, see, the problem is we went from tolerance to zero tolerance to just let them go. And the sad part of it is that we should have some tolerance to allow for the humanity of things. But when we went to zero tolerance, we just kicked everybody out of school, and they were the ones that were probably the ones that needed the socializing more than anybody. So now we've created an entire generation or two of those people of zero tolerance, and now we just let them do whatever. So now we've got parents who had the zero tolerance on them that they got kicked out for bullshit, and then all of a sudden now we got a bunch of kids who are not getting any ruling at all because the parents don't want to because they got the bad taste. Anyway, I don't know. We got to do better, right? I mean, there's better ways to do this. Oh, Lisa says someone cried over the waste of resources. Yeah, don't worry about that. Hey, military helicopter flew over my house yesterday. I waved at him. I was outside. Oh, no, Brenda. Oh, that's not good. That's not good, Brenda. You're going to have to return that money. Oh, you're going to have to return that money? I'm just kidding. I know. It's just silly. So, I mean, I watch this stuff happen over and over again, and it just so I'm sure we'll have a judge involved. How about that? How about we'll get a judge involved? The judge will know how to handle this. Judges are so cool. Yeah, judges. Okay. All right. Let's see. Pelosi says Trump and Republicans may hack into voting machines to rig the election in 2026 midterms. What? Nancy, did you forget you were talking about what you're going to do, or are you talking about what we're going to do? Nancy. Come here, look at me. Nancy, are you talking about what you're going to do? Are you going to go in there and you're going to mess with the stuff there, Nancy? Nancy, look at me. Oh, by the way, if you go back through Nancy Pelosi's father and Gavin Newsom's father and grandfather, woo. Guys, we're in a club and you're not in it. We're all in the club, but you're not in the club. We're all Americans, but you're not American. See, the problem is that there is a cool kids club. Cronies, cool guys, cool kid stuff. I ran to it about 10 years ago in my life, and I really had grew a huge disdain for it, and so I probably became a public enemy of people who love the cool kids club, love the gatekeeping of people, and I've never saw life that way. I thought we were all pretty broken and we all needed a hand up, and we all needed each other. And that the world's a better place when we actually figure out how to do things for each other and expect nothing in return. We do things because we see the need, not because we want something in return or we think that we can expect something. No, we do it because we see the need. We fill those holes. We fill those gaps. Anyway, old Nancy, I don't know. I don't know if she's telling on herself or what we're supposed to do about that there, but that's cool stuff. By the way, Florida International Airport in Palm Beach to be renamed. the Donald J. Trump International Airport. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis quietly signed a bill on Monday to rename Palm Beach International Airport as President Donald J. Trump International Airport. But wait, there's more. A judge just released an injunction saying they cannot rename any. You can't rename that. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, no, you can't. Oh, you can't do that. It's government, and you can't just do that. So there's an injunction already. I'm just making that up. It sounded real, though, didn't it? It sounded like exactly that's what should happen next. It's just like, oh, yeah, man, you can't be doing that Donald Trump stuff, man. Oh, that's not cool, bro. No, it's not the same, man. You got to stay out of that. It's just not, yeah, shoot, man. I'll tell you what. Donald J. Trump, man, you can't have no international airport. If approved, the name change will be effective July 26. So it says legislation states that the change will be still must be approved by the Federal Aviation Administration, and the FAA said the airport name changes are local issues. Does not approve airport name changes, which is described as a local issue. Instead, the FAA statement to the New York Times suggested it will be responsible for completing administrative tasks to include updating navigational charts and databases. Well, yeah, they're going to do that. They're not saying they're going to approve the name change. They're just going to make sure that the navigational charts and databases have the name change, like Gulf of America. Yeah, what do I know? All righty, guys. Well, it has been a great show. It's been good to see you. Tomorrow is going to be my first day on the radio in my new station. So anyway, good stuff out there. Just going to be doing the regular show. It's going to have to be cut off by 52 to 53, which is what we're at right now. So that means I've got to get a little bit better on my timing. And so we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to being a part of that family down there in the panhandle of Florida and other stations that I have been a part of as well. It's good to be a part of that. So the Jim Price Nation is growing, and so we'll continue to see those things happen going forward. So, guys, thank you for all the great comments today. It's good to see everybody out there just chopping it up. Any questions or comments, get a hold of me. I'm going to do the best I can to get back to you as soon as I can. All right, guys, remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise. I make promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution that limits the government but never limits you. You've always been the answer out there. So go out there and understand where your power lies. Know what you can and cannot do. And don't be like a judge and just make up stupid shit to do. Yeah. So thank you so much for that, Julie. I appreciate everything. So, guys, thank you so much for all the things you guys are doing out there. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.